Hello, good afternoon to you. Welcome to Hard Fact on 92.3 Nigeria Info and Hearing Port Harcourt. I'm Dio. 12 minutes gone past 3 p.m. on a very fine Monday afternoon. I hope the start to the working week has been a productive and rewarding one for you, and I hope you had a very fine weekend as well. Welcome once again. From now until 7, we keep the conversation going. A few items on the agenda as far as discussions are concerned on the show today, and you're very welcome to be a part of it via the usual platforms. We're live on facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH, also live on YouTube. Just search for Nigeria Info PH. WhatsApp is on 0809 030 6416. We're not back on Twitter yet. The phone lines or numbers will be given out shortly. So I'll be starting things off in a moment with today's side comments, as usual. Random thoughts in mind on some random stories which will not be up for discussion at this time. Pretty much later on during the open season segment, I'll take your thoughts on them. Then comes a rant, and I'll get your take on that till 4 o'clock. We've got business news at 4 p.m. as usual as well, and after that, the VAT wars continue. Yep, VAT. 5 northern states join FIRS in the VAT dispute against Rivers and Lagos. You can find details in the Guardian newspaper. I think other dailies are running similar versions as well, but we're going with the Guardian's version. All eyes are fixed on the Supreme Court awaiting its verdict on the value-added tax dispute between the federal government and Rivers State. Indications emerged yesterday that the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, and the governors of Adamawa, Plateau, and Kaduna states will join the Federal Inland Revenue Service in its appeal against the judgment to the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt that empowered Rivers to collect the tax. The High Court had, in the judgment, ruled against FIRS and the tax collection tussle and ordered that Rivers was the rightful collector of the tax. The FIRS thereafter challenged the judgments at the Court of Appeal, seeking that the High Court verdict be set aside. However, dependable sources close to the AGF and governors of the 3 states yesterday confided in The Guardian they would file a leave of the court to be joined in the suit on Tuesday. Now, although the AGF is already a defendant in the appeal, the source hinted that the Federal Ministry of Justice under the AGF has opted to be part of the appellant in the matter so as to enable it to argue effectively in support of FIRS. So, 5 northern states joined FIRS in VAT dispute against Rivers, Lagos. We'll look at that in the 4 o'clock hour. And what does this mean for the VAT war, really? Well, Barrister Festus Oguche joins me for that conversation. Just join us for that. Taking us to 5. We've got the news update at 5 o'clock. And Buhari honors Joe Blankson, a hero who drowned after rescuing 13 people from river. And you can find details of that story in the Punch newspaper, and I suppose some other dailies as well. But let's maybe a bit of it right now, though. And the President, Buhari, has bestowed a posthumous award on hero Joe Blankson, who saved 13 people from drowning but died while attempting to save more people. Blankson died July 28, 2018 while saving others following a boat accident on the Abonema-Bakana waterway in Rivers State. He was survived by his wife and 2 children. However, on September 30, Buhari presented a posthumous award to his wife and 2 children. Sharing pictures of the event on his verified Facebook page, the President described Blankson as a true Nigerian hero. Now, he said, quote, "On Thursday night at the State House, we honored the memory of Joseph Blankson, a true Nigerian hero who lost his life while saving others following a boat accident on the Bonema-Bakana waterway in Rivers State, July 28, 2018. Blankson successfully rescued 13 persons and tragically drowned while attempting the 14th rescue. He was the sole casualty of the boat accident." Now, the President noted that he presented a presidential special award for bravery and patriotism to the late hero. So we'll discuss this in the 5 o'clock hour. Might this be a sign that we're once again celebrating true Nigerian heroes? We'll look at that in the 5 o'clock hour. Headlines at 5:30, major news at 6, open season after that till about 7. when the show, of course, comes to a close, and the sports gang will be in by 7 for extra time. So pretty much that's the show today. If there are any changes or slight alterations, you will definitely know about it, as long as you stay tuned, of course. So let's get things going now with today's side comments. Random stories, random thoughts, not to be discussed now. The expatriate who was kidnapped along the Emohua Kalabari Road about 2 weeks ago has regained his freedom. Chairman of Kokotoru local government area, Roland Sekibo, made it known after a security meeting with the chairman of Degema, Asaritoru, and Emohua local government areas. He said the meeting also proposed solutions to the insecurity in the area. You might remember that the expatriate was whisked away by gunmen while working on the construction of the Trans-Kalabari Road. Let's hear what the chairman of Akokotoro local government area, Roland Sekibo, had to say about this, well, somewhat pleasing development, I suppose.
This collaboration, this energy is yielding fruits because as we speak to you, by the grace of God, the expertise that was kidnapped has been released because of the pressures that are coming from this collaboration. In every problem, the solution is the nature of the problem. So we looked at it, there are a lot of things that causes the insecurity, like even the road. Like last time we talked about the deplorable state of the road, we have looked at it. We also have looked at the inadequate manpower in terms of the conventional security agencies. So everything has been holistically looked at, and we have coming up with a solution. By the grace of God, these solutions will be made public sooner than later.
Okay, all right. I wouldn't hold my breath though. But question is, Mr. Chairman. The expatriate has been released, and that's a good thing. That's pleasing news. However, how was he released? How did he regain his freedom? What steps were taken exactly? Was a ransom paid? His abductors or kidnappers simply let him go? And how about these abductors, these kidnappers, by the way? What has happened to them? Have they been apprehended? Are security agents on their heels? Are they tracking them down? Will they be brought to justice? Or are they our boys? Are they our brothers? Are they some of the people we gave amnesty to? These are very fundamental questions that do require some answer. It's a good thing that he's been released, but it's not enough that he's been released, because some people committed this crime of the kidnap, of the abduction in the first place. What happens to them? What messaging are we sending out? Are we sending a clear-cut message that we do not, or that there's no room for crime or criminality or criminal behavior in our society? Are we doing that enough? Are we doing that strongly? Because these things do matter, Mr. Chairman, and to the River State government as well. When other foreign entities consider or think about doing business with us, they think about these things. And that's not to say that River State is the only place where you have abductions or kidnappings. You have them across the country. You have them even in the most advanced societies. But the thing is, what is the messaging that we're sending out by our actions or inactions? Are we sending a clear message that there is no tolerance for criminal behavior, such that if anyone engages in it, we are going to deal with them decisively? Or are we sending the message that, well, our society is one that condones, criminal tendencies? It's very important. The messaging is crucial as well, and we must be very clear in the kind of messaging that we're sending, not just to our citizens or across the country, but even to the outside world as well. Well, several other things. I think, everybody's talking about Nigerians working together now. Nigerians should work together. Elections are around the corner. I'm sure we'll expect a lot of that from our honorables and excellencies, urging all Nigerians to come together and work together. And after the elections are gone, we go back to the era of Unto. But for now, come together. Let us work together. Let us join hands together. Let us be one. Let us salvage this country. Let us be together. Let us join hands to lead this country together. Of course, once again, after the 2023 elections, we'll go back to the era of Unda. At least one person has died after a jetty collapsed in Isaka community, Okrika local government area of Rivers State on Saturday. Even eyewitnesses said the jetty caved in after an unusual rush for boats to Port Harcourt by scores of people returning from a burial ceremony in the area. And they said at least 80 people had queued to board when the jetty collapsed, throwing people into the river. And a special assistant to the Krika Council chairman said that one life was lost while others were rescued by local divers. It's a very unfortunate situation, one in my estimation that should never have happened in the first place. Obviously, that jetty was constructed to accommodate a certain number of persons. Now, the people who are working there, who I perceive might even be earning a salary, should know this and should know that a certain number of persons should not be allowed on the jetty at a single time, and they should have been doing their jobs. But obviously, some people did not know this, or knew but simply did not care, and sadly, this unfortunate accident happened, and a life has been lost. And I wonder what the Okrika Council chairman is doing about this situation. If there are any investigations on, that's the thing. So it's happened. Yeah, we said about it. It's unfortunate, but what are we doing about it? Has the council commissioned any investigation into this development? Why did it happen? First, how did it happen? Why did it happen? Was something overlooked? Was there a dereliction of duty on the part of some person or some persons? How do we ensure this does not happen again? These are things. These are the kinds of things that would be the kinds of news that will be in circulation in other climes, because this should be taken very seriously, not just unfortunately happened. The jetty collapse. Some people came for burial, and they were leaving. There was a rush. You see, there was a rush. It's not a normal thing. There was a rush, and you can see the jetty over there collapsed, and but luckily our divers were on hand and they rescued them. So unfortunately, one person died, and we'll see what we can do. The administration is on top of it, and we'll let you know. We'll see. Thank you. No, it's not just that. It's we have to investigate it. We have to find out. We have to ensure also that steps are put in place, concrete steps, by the way, to ensure that we do not have a reoccurrence ever again. But then again, got a comment via WhatsApp. That is simply unfortunate why leaders at almost all fronts in Nigeria do not apply common and simple logic to solving issues. It's most unfortunate indeed. Anyways, that's it for today's side comment. I'll go for a quick break. I'll return in a moment, and today's round comes up. Do please stay with us.
We give the facts.
News entirely.
We give the evidence. Just to keep you informed.
News, weather.
I get my information top of the hour every hour.
92.3 Nigeria Info.
Are you running late and can't make it down to our Rumorsi office to book your commercials? Don't worry, because you can take advantage of our marketing office inside Port Harcourt to book your commercials. It is located at Shop 9 Mediatrix of All Graces Plaza, opposite FIRS Stadium Road, Port Harcourt. You can also call our sales rep on 0817 001 8162. That's 0817 001 8162.
A clean surrounding is a collective effort.
Diseases could be avoided
with good hygiene practice. Be more responsible with how you dispose waste products. The environment will be better looking without litter and exposed garbage. We love our city clean. This message is from 92.3 Nigeria Info.
keeping up with political issues and developments around you only on Nigeria Info.
And now, Hard Facts. Hard Facts with Dio.
Welcome back. It is still Hard Facts to Nigeria Info and here in Port Harcourt. I'm Dio. 28 minutes gone past 3 p.m. and I'd like to rant for just a bit. I've got something on my mind. I'll be expressing a few thoughts on it. I'd like to get your take on mine until 4 p.m. If you are a keen observer, strike out the keen part. If you're simply an observer of happenings in Nigeria, you don't have to be a soothsayer or a prophet or a man of God for that matter to be able to predict somewhat to an incredibly almost exactly accurate degree how things play out in this country, because the script is more or less the same. There is no creativity, there is no ingenuity to it. It's the same script that's been played out almost every time, if not every time. And if you're an observer, you can tell how things are going to play out eventually, which is why it is extremely shocking for me that in spite of the brilliance and intelligence of Nigerians, and I do believe we're brilliant and intelligent people, we fall for the same tricks, the same antics every single time, For example, 2023 is around the corner, elections are coming up, and you're going to be hearing all of us who join hands together. And then honorables and excellencies are going to be going to church a lot now, and waxing philosophical and spiritual, and calling for all Nigerians to join hands together. There are going to be a lot of empowerment programs, empowerment initiatives now, and very soon we're going to see images of bole eating and corn roasting, akara frying, ugu buying, fish purchasing, keke napep riding, and naked babies carrying. While of course we keep promising that we will give you, and of course, somehow, I don't know how, but somehow Nigerians always fall for the same tricks every now and then. It's just incredible. But away from that, it's the same script, like I said, always playing out every single time. And it's unfortunate. Now, we know the honorables and excellencies to keep playing out this same script, which they never meant, by the way. However, whilst Nigerians may or may not take them seriously, but have identified how incompetent they are really, it's important that professionals do not allow themselves to be tied with the same rope that our honorables and excellencies are tied with, because eventually a time will come that Nigerians will no longer take them seriously and may even begin to turn on them as well. And I'm speaking specifically or especially to doctors in Nigeria, or to unions generally, labor unions generally. For labor unions to accomplish any set out goal, the fact of the matter is that they need the buy-in, they need the goodwill of people, of citizens, because their actions, especially when they embark on industrial actions or strike actions, more often than not, these actions impact on the people. Now, resident doctors in Nigeria have been on strike for some time right now, and we've had several discussions on it. I've had several discussions on it on Hard Facts, and I perceive or I sense that the resident doctors have enjoyed some goodwill from Nigerians, some level of understanding, even though it has negatively impacted the lives of Nigerians in the sense that they cannot afford themselves some medical care any longer, because let's face it, most Nigerians really can't afford to go to a private hospital. So they need the state-run medical centers to be up and running and functional. But it's not been the case across the country because of the strike embarked on by resident doctors. But in spite of that inconvenience, you still sense that there is an understanding from Nigerians that this strike is imperative, is necessary, and you sense that Nigerians have backed the resident doctors, even in spite of the inconvenience they have to suffer, let's get this done. Let's get government to do the right thing. Let's get government to invest in the health sector. Let's get government to pay our doctors and to pay them well. Saudi Arabia was here recently, massively recruiting our doctors. The UK is massively recruiting our doctors. Canada is massively recruiting our doctors. Australia is massively recruiting our doctors. The US is massively welcoming. In fact, which country is not massively welcoming our doctors, paying them much better than they earn, whatever it is they earn over here, to the detriment of Nigerians, of course, to the massive detriment of Nigerians, which is no longer news. So the doctors have enjoyed rather a great deal of support from Nigerians as far as this strike embarked on by resident doctors are concerned. But then again, true to form, unsurprisingly, this piece of information from the Punch newspaper, other dailies as well, it's captioned, resident doctors call off strike to resume Wednesday. Now, here's the story. By the way, ordinarily, this should be great news. This should be good news because the strike has been called off. It's great news. It means that when they resume work on Wednesday, you can go to the hospitals now. You can take your sick loved ones to the hospital, or if you are feeling unwell, you can now go to a hospital and be sure that you're going to receive the care and attention of a doctor, and that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. However, in the short run, it might seem that way. In the long run, is it really a good thing? And that's the essence of my rant today. Let's go back to the story. Resident doctors call off strike to resume Wednesday. The National Association of Resident Doctors has suspended its nationwide strike. The strike began August 2 and has been suspended with effect from 8 a.m. Wednesday, according to the president of the association, Dr. Adedayo Elusakin. Now, not the first sentence that I read. The National Association of Resident Doctors has suspended its nationwide strike. Suspended. A very interesting choice of word. In other words, the strike has not been called off. It's simply been suspended. Now, Elusakin, in an interview with our correspondent, said, quote, "We are suspended the strike for 6 weeks to give room for movement in some of the items we noticed a stalemate. There was a stalemate in the enrollment of our members into the IPs and payment of their arrears. The government was invoking the Trade Dispute Article 41, that is the no work, no pay, and since they have been enrolled into IPs, it means there was not going to be any salary into their accounts. Without them being paid, they won't get their arrears. That was a stalemate. We felt we should give a window to see if the government can start paying them salaries and push their arrears into their accounts. On the issue of no work, no pay, we have not agreed to forfeit our salaries. The strike was unnecessarily prolonged because of government response to the strike. Instead of sitting on the table, the government decided to go to court, and that kept prolonging negotiation." Elusakin added that the National Executive Council of the association would meet after 6 weeks to determine the next line of action. Interesting once again. The doctors have suspended the strike for 6 weeks so that some people can get paid and we can see if they will get their arrears or not. And I do not mean to be a prophet of doom. I do not mean to be the bearer of bad news, but to a seemingly large degree, one can almost certainly exactly predict how this is going to play out. So the doctors on Wednesday, they are going to resume and they're going to go back to work, and then we hear things like, oh, they are some of them are receiving salaries. They're going to be smiles and slaps on the back, back patting all over the place. That yes, we have been receiving some of our members. Some of our members have been talking about their accounts being credited right now. Some of the accounts are being credited right now. I see. We want to thank Nigerians for supporting us. We want to thank Nigerians for their patience and for their understanding. And some of our members have been reporting that their accounts are being credited. It's a delightful thing. We will organize a Thanksgiving service on this remarkable, auspicious event sometime very soon. And then give it about 6 weeks from now, and we will hear something else. The excitement will have died down, and then we will not hear something like, it is very disturbing. It is very alarming, the irresponsibility of this of government. It is very by the way, this is the same person that was thanking Nigerians for their patience, and some of our members have been receiving alerts already. You see, we are all one. We are working together. We don't like the situation. We are all working for progress. We would like to appreciate the Honorable Minister, His Excellency, the Honorable Minister, for the great what they are doing. Finally, we are having discussions, and we believe that a progress will be made. We know that the current government is concerned about the true state of things, and we're all working together. Now, 6 weeks from now, it's very unfortunate. It's highly unfortunate, the irresponsibility of this government. In fact, His Excellency, the Honorable Minister, must be sacked. The government has to sack His Excellency, the Honorable Minister, because it's very, very sad. It's very, very sad. I'm telling you, we are getting reports from our members that they are being shortchanged. Many of them, they have not been paid. Those ones that haven't got alerts, the money is not complete. The money is not correct. And it's very, very sad indeed. How can a responsible government be signing agreements? How can any responsible government enter into negotiations with Labour? We reach an agreement and the government will renege. The government will not honor its own part of the agreement. That is the problem that we are facing. And we want Nigerians to know this. We want Nigerians to know what's going on. You see, it's not the doctors. It's not the doctors. You can see, we all go to the same market. We go to the same market. Our children go to the same schools. The healthcare system is in shambles. We are trying to salvage this country. And Nigerians must understand that we are all in this together. This is a horrible government. This is a very, very horrible, horrific government. We don't understand what's going on. How can a responsive and responsible government enter into agreement and not fulfill the agreement? See, we can show you. This is a certified copy of the agreement, signed. Look at it. You point your camera here. Look at it. We signed. They signed. Everybody signed. United Nations, the World Bank, UNICEF, the ISIS, everybody signed. Didn't you sign? After we all signed, you can see what's going on. So anyways, we will not talk too much. So we have hereby informed our members that if we don't hear anything from government by midnight tomorrow, the strike that we suspended is hereby going on, and there's no going back this time around. Comrades, solidarity forever, solidarity forever, solidarity forever. We shall always fight for our rights. I hope I'm wrong. I sincerely hope I'm wrong. I hope it doesn't happen. But somewhere in my heart of hearts, I have a feeling that this is exactly what's going to play out. But I do hope I'm wrong. I hope that 6 weeks from now, 8 weeks from now, 10 weeks from now, that you call in and tell me, Dayo, you were wrong. What you said did not happen. You got this one wrong. I really hope that that's going to happen, but I fear that it may not. And we're going to go back to square one once again and keep on with this charade or whatever the heck it is. But finally, to the unions, Nigerians are watching. This is a reminder to the unions that, yeah, I don't know what's wrong with Nigerians. They tend to buy into these things ever too often. I'm not sure why, really. But there's always a breaking point. And if we continue along this trajectory, at some point we're going to lose the goodwill that we enjoy from Nigerians. And I hope that we finally we were able to get it right eventually, whether it's in the health sector, whether it's in education, especially tertiary education. ASU, I think, will go on strike again very soon. And whatever other unions there are out there who are entering into these agreements with government that government never honor, by the way. I hope we get it right eventually. On that note, in my rant, thanks for listening. I hope I did not bore you. Let's get your take in mind. The numbers are the same, lines are open. We got 0817 923 0002, 0817 923 0003, and 0817 923 0007. We're live on facebook.com/Nigerian for PH. WhatsApp is on 0809 0306416. Please keep it brief and straight to the point. And once a call is answered, do please turn down the volume of your radio set. It's expedient to do so, else we can't have ourselves a conversation. I've got an Andy on the line from Remo Dumaya. Andy, hi, go ahead.
Hello, Dayo, good evening.
Go on, please.
And happy new week.
Same to you.
I think you have buttressed and you have said a lot about the whole thing. Even when the strike started, some of us we are on the doctors because we personally, and I have them as friends, and I told them that there was not going to be any difference. And each time I say it to them, they feel that I'm being a brain, even supporting the federal government. What are we saying? Have they been paid the minimum or salaries that they are requesting is on the way? Has there been any magical transformation in the hospitals? No. Dilapidation of medical facilities, has there been any change? No. You call on the masses to help you for the hospitals to be equipped. Has there been any equipped? No. But their money is on the way. The issue we're having with them is just that we, the masses, are the people that are promoting and even making them have such a mind. How many persons at these UPTH, as I'm talking to this morning, people are still dying. And tomorrow you tell us you have the masses at heart. Please, let us set a committee, if possible, to investigate doctors and government. They have collided together to suffer the masses. Thank you very much.
Okay. David from D-Line, hi, go on.
Good afternoon, Dayo.
Hello.
There is no difference between these persons in the leadership of pressure groups of this nature and them politicians. They can be best be described as comrades in political uniforms or politicians in comradeship uniforms. That is what they are. Let me just give you an example. Dr. Uyilawa, the former NAT president who instituted this very strike on 2nd of August, knew rightly that he has less than a month to be in that office before a congress is held and he is changed in the office. So he only had to use that as the last struggle he will push, so as to be as though he ended well. And that is the essence of the strike. The suspension is baseless, the reason they give for the suspension. Because I've always said, as a lawyer, I will never condone with any act of insubordination or disrespect to court orders. Whether it's a blocking judge that gives an order, you must obey. The industrial court has heard that they did not follow the due process under the Labour Act to institute that strike. And so it is illegal, it is unlawful, and they must come back to work. Now, you suspending the strike is only obeying the court order and not telling me that in 6 months or 6 weeks you're giving government to for you people to have a party. Now, I've already said it, the way out to all this, so as it does not look political the way they are going about, but they are poor politicians, those who are doing it. Now, I've said it, use what they call the pioneer tertiary health institutions in the 6 regions as a pilot scheme. That I'm going on strike because this infrastructures are not put in place. Registered training are not put in place. They are not paying the wages very well. These pioneer health institutions, we must first of all institute these things there. Get these machines we want. Get our resident doctors who are there in that very pioneer health institutions. Train in their residency training. The money must be paid for all of them. We know the numbers of resident doctors in those pioneer universities, especially health institutions. Until you do this, we are not coming back on the strike. And we just have 6 pioneer universities in tertiary institutions in Nigeria from 1948 to about 1965. So why don't we just use that as a model? Until you do that. Well, what we have here is that they will just come, they will not shout, comrades, oh yeah. It has been long ago that the Minister of Labour saw us. What do we do now? That we get the attention. Nah, let us look. Okay, let's go on strike. Let's give him a warning notice of 21 days. And then they will just issue notice of 21 days. And then go on strike. And then the minister will call them and they will have tea party. And then at the end of the day, you will only know pressmen that now are getting their own envelope. Pressmen also who
why are you attacking pressmen here?
No, I was once in the system of politics.
How did pressmen contribute? How did pressmen contribute to this matter?
No, what I'm saying is that most times when they go to meet them, it's not because they want the welfare of their members, but simply because
I get your point, David. I get your point.
And the pressmen equally who come for the cover the press conference, I give an envelope, and that is why someone with like financial level will tell him, you poor pressman, who told you I'm being bankrupt? How much is your salary? Because at the end of that very press conference, he will only give that very
once again, I don't understand what pressmen do to you and how pressmen have complicated this matter. Why are you attacking pressmen now? But David, I do have to move on though. Great to hear from you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Alice, do call back if you can. Via Facebook, Franco Confidence goes, the doctors calling off strike is not a cheery news to me because they can resume strike anytime as witnessed in the past. The cheery news would be that politicians would no longer go abroad for medical treatment, but in Nigeria. Until this is done, doctors' strike will be imminent and inevitable because the hospitals won't be equipped, doctors' welfare won't be a priority to the government. Good day, Dyer. Jackson Temagos, who told you they go to government hospitals abroad? What stops our billionaires here to invest in hospital business? All they know here is building of filling stations and big hotels. Akoban Dugotun goes, finally Chris Ngige has won them. Relish goes, this latest round of strike called off by the resident doctors is what those folks who call themselves learned men will term as interim injunction. I expect them to go back on strike in a month or two. The UK is just a flight away for the president. His lifetime doctors are always ready to provide him with the best of medical services. Newton Akira goes, the NAT just mocked themselves. Have the reasons for which they went on strike been addressed? So we no agree on all the grandstanding. This is it. Don't start something you can't finish. All right. Back to the phone lines. I've got Ubong from Woji. Hello, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Okay, Dayo, good afternoon.
Hi.
I'm going to say that ASU and MNA, they are identical twin brothers. They always go for strike for no valid reasons or for selfish interest.
Well, they do have valid reasons,
not for
actually.
the interest of the Nigerians. Because whenever they go to strike, and they call up the strike, when they are the very reason they go for strike is not met, and they call up the strike. It has been on and on and on since 2003. I've been seeing strike coming on. Nothing changed. And whenever they call it, I think we Nigerians need to protest against them, not the government. We have seen that the government is not the problem. It's these people that is the problem. Because it's about their personal interest. When they give them envelope, they give them money, and they forget about what they went there for. And they call up the strike and say, okay, we are calling Nigerians to be this and that. These are problems we have. It's the people, not the government. I am saying that the problem in Nigeria is not government, but it's a poor followership. Bad followership is the problem of Nigeria. Of Nigeria. Until when we change our attitude, we get better.
Well, why, what's up? I believe the current president of NAD is guiding their association wisely. This suspension is what the previous president would have done long ago, since there were a lot of anomalies to reconcile in the payments due to some verifications of data. Instead, he went on personal campaign against the Minister of Labour. I believe good reason will prevail in this move of the president, or the present NAD president, Joe from Port Harcourt. I hope you're right, Joe. I really hope you're right. Good day, Dial. Okay. It baffles me. Okay, I'll get back to this shortly. But back to the phone lines, I'll go to Andy from GRA. Andy, you're welcome. Go on.
Yes, Tayo, good evening.
Hi.
This topic is really very interesting. I'd said to a lot of the NAD people that I'm friends that this strike was not going to work. And yesterday I called a few of them and I said, I told you all that the strike was not going to work. Then you know why people kill themselves to become presidents of associations from your association, which is NUJ to NARD and all that. Politics has crept into virtually everything. Trust me, I know that they are going to offer monies to the politicians in these associations and they will not be able to do anything. So then what has happened? Monies have exchanged and they have made promises to certain people. Certain people have said because of the fact that the president is from the north and they are also from the north, they have boggled the whole struggle. As I speak to you right now, it is even the house officers and the medical officers that I pity for. Because the AROD people will still make some money eventually. But the medical officers and the house officers are going to have to lose this money.
Andy,
so for me, I think that
Andy, why do we,
including Nigerian Labour Union and all
Andy,
that,
can you hear me?
There's no relevance.
Andy, why do we blame the North for everything? I don't understand that part. Why must we blame the North for everything that goes wrong in this country?
So Dayo, that is so that's like who is the president of NARD, the current president?
When the strike was instituted, the president was not a northerner.
Beautiful, but guess what happened?
What?
Guess what happened? They waited until this time of handover and takeover to call this strike, even though it's understood that the people who were there before had already arranged whatever it was that they arranged. But it was just convenient that they could call it off when it's a northerner that is in charge, that is ahead. You know what the sentiment will be now? Is my own. Whether I would like it or not, you and I can rise above this pedestrian conversation. But whether you like it or not, the majority of Nigerians are still swimming in it. Where is he from? Is he my brother? Is he the same religious, whatever with me? And they would always do things in accordance.
So Andy, you said something. Andy, just a moment, Andy. You said, Andy, please listen. You said at the start of this conversation that when the strike commenced, you told your friends who are members of NAD that the strike was going to go nowhere, and it was a southerner who was the president of NAD then, not a northerner. At that time, you did not know a northerner was going to take over the leadership of NAD, but you told your friends this, and it was a southerner. No, it was a southerner who was in charge. So why you're blaming the north now? I don't understand that. But Andy,
it's a different conversation entirely. What happened. But it was just convenient for them to allow the northern to do this, to play the what is the word now? To do this game, to play this game.
Okay.
They just allowed the northern because it was going to be very convenient. They understand that if it was done by the southern that was there was going to be a lot of furore around it. People would shout. But now it's not so convenient. It's convenient.
Okay, Andy, your thoughts noted. Great to hear from you. We got 4 minutes to go before 4 o'clock. Let's see. Do I have any? Okay, I got tons of messages via WhatsApp still. Let's see. Good afternoon, Dial. It baffles me that doctors and even ASA members, as enlightened as they are supposed to be or expected to be, regularly sign agreements with federal government to solve a problem whose solution is mainly on financial issues, and the very financial component of that agreement is not captured in that year's budget. What were they expecting federal government to get the money from? Should federal government take money meant for Boni Bodo Road or East West Road to give doctors? Prophet Dial, thou seest well. They will be shouting even before the 6 weeks is over. As a text. All right, Dial, your point is well noted, and you're going to be proved correct. But some unions are even trying to get government at all levels to do the right thing. What then would you say about NUT? This one does not talk, nor act for the benefit of its members. They only harness their checkup dues running into hundreds of millions of every month, while the teachers are suffering in silence, as Uche Nwachuku. Workers are using the strike to give themselves rest because the salaries will still be paid. Ogu Justice said that. Di, good afternoon. You said it all. If the doctors have ears, let them hear the sermon you have sent to them today. That's from Jimmy Pepe. All right. It's a pity we find ourselves where we are, a nation not taking the health sector seriously. May God help Nigeria. Dr. Jonathan Awaji Moa said that. Hello, Dial. Strike temporarily over, and the doctors get paid for the while they won't strike. Anyone who died or suffered during the strike did so in utter vain. We need to rethink and stop supporting these unions because none of them care about the people. The resident doctors and the government are both not doing anything with the masses in mind. If you must strike, you should forfeit your pay while you don't work. That's from Matt Paul. NAD is not at fault. Government is at fault, but he didn't mention the Nigeria Info that he didn't mention that Nigeria Info signed the MOU. That's what HK. Everybody signed. HK, you probably signed also. You know, maybe our reporter who covered the occasion or the event may have signed as well. Everybody signs, apparently. For me, the issues raised by the resident doctors are germane issues. They are critical issues. But like several messages I've read out have clearly spelled out, and some of the callers as well, have the issues been addressed? Those issues raised by the resident doctors, have they been addressed? What modalities? If the government is supposed to pay certain amounts to the doctors, the strike can be on while the money is paid. It can be paid. Do you have to resume, or are the accounts dormant because the doctors are on strike? So once doctors go on strike, the accounts are no longer active, you know. But like I said, the problem is some weeks from now, we will hear a lot of shoutings once again as to how this government has failed, very sad indeed. Anyways, about 4 p.m. now, a break for the business news. After which we'll talk about the latest in the ongoing VAT war in the country. Barrister Festus Aguti Johnson on our conversation. Do please stay with us.